If the blues is just a 1-4-5, how does it seem to defy basic theory? And why does it sometimes seem so darn complex? We're going to talk about why and what you can do to avoid frustration. The other day, I was relearning John Mayer's song Gravity. Great tune. I realized at one point, hey, despite these complex chords, this is just the blues. And then I thought, just the blues, that's a very broad range. It can go from the simpler stuff like Lightnin' Hopkins or Eric Clapton to the jazzier, complex stuff like Robben Ford or Josh Smith or Danny Gatton. I first encountered the blues on Led Zeppelin 1 with the song I Can't Quit You Baby by Willie Dixon. I remember sitting in my buddy's garage playing with a bunch of my friends, playing chorus after chorus after chorus of that song, improvising the blues with the only thing I knew at the time, which was the extended blues box position or the Clapton box. You know the one I'm talking about. And that was great. Nothing wrong with that at all. But then I took a few lessons, and the teacher told me effectively, the blues box, that's a joke, man. Where it's at is really the major scale and all of its modes. So armed with that newfound knowledge, I went back to wow everybody with my playing. It sounded awful. The problem is, I had just learned some theory, the harmonized major scale shown here in A. Since the blues is just a 1-4-5, this is simple. The A is the 1 chord, the D is the 4 chord, the E is the 5 chord. This is the key of A. I'll just solo using the A major scale. And that's exactly what sounded awful, but why? Here's the standard 12-bar blues as I knew it, ordinary major chords. But here's the 12-bar blues as it's usually played, with all dominant chords. Even the 1 chord is a dominant chord, here in A7. Now those chords can be dominant 7ths, 9ths, 13ths, 7-sharp 9s, whatever. The key thing is that the 1 chord is a dominant chord. It's not a happy ever-ending chord like a major. Instead, it's a bit unsettling, and that really fits the blues well. Remember, the blues repeats over and over. It's kind of like, oh, it's Monday, I got to go to work again, rather than happily ever after. And also, being dominant, it can take a lot of abuse. It can take a lot of different approaches. So that's one of the reasons why soloing over a 1-4-5 is so flexible. But okay, knowing theory is not enough. How do you cut through all the confusion and solo the changes of the blues? The first step, whatever you do, whatever your level, is to listen to the blues, and especially listen to the singers. After all, the guitar is really supposed to be imitating a blues singer. And don't just limit yourself to listening to Eric Clapton or B.B. King. Make sure you get acts like Howlin' Wolf and Big Mama Thornton and Muddy Waters, and some modern acts like Sue Foley or Robert Randolph and a family band. The more, the merrier. If you're just starting out soloing, go ahead and use the blues scale in the extended blues box. Plenty of players from Billy Gibbons to Robert Cray have used that as their primary blues soloing weapon. But make sure you take the time to listen to the notes that sound good to you and when they're played, and try, and I mean really try, to imitate the human voice. That means adding flair like bends, vibrato, and slides, and breathing. Singers take the time to breathe, and you should too in your playing, not just flurries of notes. But if you're a little more advanced, you might try playing chord by chord and mixing the major and minor blues scales. For example, you could play an A major pentatonic over the A7 And you could play an A minor pentatonic over the D7 and the E7, paying special attention to the notes in those chords. But there are so many other places you can take the blues. If you want more details on playing blues and blues rock solos, click on this video, because in it I show you a simple technique that's going to make your solos a lot more interesting, a lot more fun, and much more melodic. So go ahead and click on that video, and we'll see you in the next video. We'll see you on down the road.